featuring looking at the best running back in the MEAC today in Jermaine Martin. This kid is not only the best running back in the MEAC, he's one of the best running backs in the entire country.
You talk about running back, you in the MEAC, you're looking at Tariq Cohen, Markel Cartwright, and now Jermaine Martin out of Conway, South Carolina, 5'10", 200 pounds, outstanding talent you see right there. First in yards per game, 16 touchdowns rushing the football, 8.1 yards an attempt. That's impressive, and over 1,000 yards so far this season. He's an outstanding playmaker.
Welcome to Football Game Plan Scout Team here on the Game Plus Network. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook. We have a great show lined up for you guys this evening, and we're going to keep it all defensive here as we're going to talk to 3 different NFL draft prospects for the 2020 class. And why not get the show kicked off the right way by starting in the middle with linebacker Jonas Griffith of Indiana State.
The 2-8 Bears of Morgan State. It's the MEAC Digital Network game on ESPN3. Hi, everybody. Great to see you again this week. I'm Phil Shaner, always alongside the czar of the playbook, Emory Hunt. Final home game of the year for Morgan State, and Lynchburg is in town. So the seniors, they're very excited. Guys like Bailey, guys like Chase, they want to put up big numbers on senior day.
Well, this is why you love college football, because you get to watch guys like Menashe Bailey develop over the course of his career, and he's put on a spectacular show his entire senior campaign, looking to close it out with the big one against Lynchburg.
And Josh Chase, he wants to go out in style as well.
Absolutely. You talk about another guy that has been an integral part to this offense throughout these coaching staff changes. He's been a bell cow for this run game. We'll see if he can continue to do that today.
Our buddy Emory Hunt's going to join us right now, who I was like, we kind of let it go under the radar. Struggled the first week,
nobody worried
but
about
then
that.
Bam, comes right back, perfect on the. I just undersell that one. Oversell the 6-0 last week, was perfect on his picks, was absolutely on fire. Called the Ravens. That was probably the easiest one of the week. But also had the Chiefs over the Jaguars. Had the Texans covering in that great game on Monday night. You had the Liberty at Louisiana. We accused him of being a homer on that one. Like all these picks, stellar across the board. So, no pressure or anything, Emory, but you've set the bar. Now you got people listening. Now they're going to put their hard-earned money on the line. Let's start it off with a Thursday Night Football matchup. Panthers, Bucks. Our boy Jameis, my man's got to come back, but also Cam Newton has to have a bounce back too. What do you think unfolds in this game?
I think we'll see a defensive battle. Quietly, the Bucs defense was outstanding in that game against San Francisco. So was Carolina in limiting what Jared Goff could do. But I think the Panthers have more than enough offense. I can trust Cam Newton right now more so than Jameis Winston. So I would say lay the points with the Panthers.
Well, last week, the Falcons' defense took a step back, but the Falcons, remember, took it to New Orleans the first time these two teams met in kind of a shocking way. Question is, how does New Orleans get revenge on the Falcons' home field?
Defense has to play better. You saw in that first matchup against Atlanta, they were able to run the football well. They were able to get their backs in the passing game. Matt Ryan had some success throwing the football deep down the field. And we saw Carolina give the Saints problems in the passing game also. So, again, the defense for the Saints has to play better or have to play better. And also offensively for New Orleans, it's about finding a consistent running game. Try to find that balance that you want to find on offense. Take some of the pressure off Drew Brees in that passing attack. When they operate with balance, I think they're one of the more dangerous teams in the NFL.
Long-time tormentor Colgate to D.C. Howdy, football fans. Jeremy Huber here with Emory Hunt. And Emory, we know the numbers. The Raiders 15-1 against the Hoyas all time. What does Georgetown have to do to knock off Colgate?
They have to play great offense. If they can do that, that gives them a head start. We know Colgate defense will come ready to play. Georgetown's defense will come ready to play, but offense will be the name of the game for both teams in this one.
Welcome to FootballGamePlan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bringing you another edition of 4 Downs with the Czar here at MetLife Stadium, where the New York Giants played host to the Miami Dolphins, and the Giants came away victorious by the score of 36-20. Now, here are some offensive takeaways in this ball game with the New York Giants, starting with first down. Eli Manning may have played his last game as a starting quarterback for the New York Giants here and was able to get the win, pushing his record to 500 for his career. But
for the Hawks over the Camels. Let's take a look at our impact players today. We've got a premier quarterback matchup. I know you love that. You look at DeAndre Francois, you look at KENJI BAHAR, maybe the best 2 quarterbacks in the Big South.
Absolutely. They do about the same things athletically. They both can get in and out of the pocket, make accurate passes downfield. They work touchdown to check down. Bahar does a great job of protecting the football a little bit more, but you love how each guy gets the football to many different targets out there in the passing game.
You've had success everywhere you've been as a player and as a coach. Success just doesn't happen by happenstance. You know, that's something that's cultivated and grown and ingrained in your mentality. Where did that start to for you, and how you been able to cultivate that success as a player, high school and college, and also now as a coach everywhere you've been?
Well, I think it started about 20 miles down the road in Quincy, Florida.
Balance running and passing.
I think you'll start to see the run game pick up a little bit as we move along, because offensive line play is all about continuity. And this was the first time these guys have played together for a full game outside of the scrimmages and practices where you kind of can, script certain drills and certain personnel groupings. But this was the first time the starting five was out there for a full 60-minute game. And it takes time. And so we'll start to see these guys start to build that continuity. And the running game will be a direct beneficiary of that, because the running back is also tied to success of his offensive line. If those guys are on the same page, it makes my job as the back a hell of a lot easier. 2020 Reese Senior Bowl here in Mobile, Alabama. This is the last stop on our scouting trip for the All-Star Game season. We were at the Tropical Bowl in Daytona Beach, as well as the East-West Shrine Bowl last week. So before we get into what we're doing here at the Reese Senior Bowl, let's take a look at some of the sights, some of the sounds, and some of the standouts from both the Tropical Bowl as well as the East-West Shrine Bowl.
Who is the best dressed out of the three of us? Me, you, or Emory?
That's definitely me.
See, I think I would make a strong case for me.
What kind of question is
I would
that?
make the case for myself.
Okay, all right.
But I did see one Emory Hunt strolling the sidelines of one NFL game looking pretty fly.
Oh, word? Do we have a clip? Do we have
no, I don't think we have a clip. We'll have to get Joey for next week.
Skillet, what were you wearing? What's he referring to?
I had the mint green sports coat. And me being dark skinned, I looked like mint chocolate chip out there. I was turning crazy, going crazy.
It looked pretty.
Now to Conference USA. UAB taking on FAU, Florida Atlantic. UAB now has fully resurrected themselves from the ashes. This was a program that was dead and gone just a few years ago. They now go to another Conference USA title game. It shows the strength of football in Alabama for sure, but FAU can't be overlooked in this one either.
Well, FAU may be overlooking the big elephant in the room. Their head coach, Lane Kiffin, interviewed at Arkansas earlier in the week. How serious is he taking this ball game? This is a championship game, and he's interviewing for a head coaching job in the SEC. So that's going to be an intriguing storyline to watch. UAB's defense is really good. Offensively, they're up and down. Sometimes they show up, the run game is there. Sometimes the passing game shows up, but you don't know which UAB offense you're going to get week to week. However, you do know which Florida Atlantic offense you're going to get, an explosive one. I do like the Owls to win. What I like about your game is the fact that you are a hands catcher. You're comfortable catching the ball away from your body. It doesn't matter if a guy is draped all over you or whatever. You will focus on the football and bring that ball in. How you been able to develop that talent as a skill set?
Yeah, just a lot of concentration. Off season, being able to catch like 100 balls a day, just all those little things.
Well, you brought up the conference, so I'll bring it up too. The Missouri Valley Conference, a lot of people call it the SEC of the FCS. How tough is that conference, top to bottom, and do you think that also helped prepare you for the league?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's a very tough conference. It's the toughest conference in the FCS. I mean, you play one of the teams.
By beating Arizona, what's your feeling here as they face the Sun Devils?
This is a tricky game because you look at Arizona State and how they play. They play competitively throughout the entire season, and there are a young football team that I think is a year away. You don't blow out Arizona State, and I think this game will be very close, one that Oregon will have to play all 60 minutes to get the win, but they won't win by 13.5 points, so take Arizona State and the points in this one.
Playing Scout Team here on the Game Plus Network. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook. You talk about defense in the FCS, you want to talk about the Colgate Raiders, and they have a guy along their defensive line that has been outstanding so far in his career and has his eyes set on the NFL. And that guy is Nick Wheeler, defensive lineman from the Colgate Raiders.
Jackson has literally shattered records for the Hilltoppers. I mean, Emory, when you look at this guy, you talk about the wide receiver talent, he has to be among that conversation as well when you're talking the weekend.
When your name is Lucky, you have to be quick or fast or both, and he's definitely both. You talk about a guy that can create separation, both short and also when he breaks out of his routes or in and out of his cuts. And when you're able to create that separation, you're going to find yourself open a lot. That's why he broke a lot of records at Western Kentucky. And I think he's one of these receivers that can win at every level of the field, short, intermediate, and also deep.
I know your guys' favorite quarterbacks, but I'm going to let you wax poetically. People can see my opinion on the website, so I don't want to waste too much time. Emory, I'm going to let you go first. I know who it's been for basically about the past, year, who your guy is, so go ahead.
It's Lamar Jackson. I mean, from a fantasy perspective, from a real life perspective, he's the guy that changes the game. And you mean to tell me a guy can throw for 300 yards and rush for 150 yards and score 6 touchdowns total? I want that guy on my team. I want that guy on my fantasy team. I want him on my real football team. To me, that's the one player that really dictates how you cover him, how you defend him. It makes everybody around him better because you're only going to see certain coverages, mostly zone, because you can't play man versus a mobile quarterback, especially one that's as fast as him. You can't really spy him with the linebacker because he's going to outrun him, so you have to sacrifice the safety, which will then make the tight end one-on-one. Receivers get one-on-one coverage. The running game is going to be better because you can't really crash down and defend the run. Got to keep the backside gate closed, and that's where the running game happens. So that's the number one player in this draft. I just find it comical that a guy with this talent, this level of production and consistency and growth over the last 3 seasons is not talked about as being the number one option in this draft.
Oh, no, we got to put him at wide receiver, Emory. Come on now. Look, I know that's ridiculous. You know it's ridiculous. Let's ask the bigger question here. Is he the next Michael Vick? And if so, is he going to break Madden just like Michael Vick did?
This is why it's so funny, because I was in college. We were, playing college ball when Vick was happening, and we actually ended up getting the offensive coordinator from Virginia Tech to be our next head coach. This was happening 2 years down the line, obviously. But at that time, we were like, man, this guy is great. And he was all projection because he wasn't the most polished passer. Their offense was 75% power running game and Vick off play action, finding somebody open and scrambling. But you couldn't pass on him at one because you'd never seen a quarterback run a 4.2. You never seen a quarterback with that laser of an arm. We're going to figure it out, but we got to take him. With Lamar Jackson, you're getting a more polished version of Michael Vick, a guy that's a more elusive runner that can protect himself so he won't get hurt, and a guy that can throw the football coming out of a pro-style offense at Louisville with that Earhart Perkins offense that he runs with Bobby Petrino. And keep in mind, Petrino, we never got to see what he would have looked like with Michael Vick because Vick went to jail. This is exactly what it would have looked like had Vick and Petrino been able to work together in the league. This is a can't-miss prospect, in my opinion.